So grab your headphones, let the journey start. With Suzy's Vegas tales, she's stealing the heart. In the city of dreams, let's laugh and play. Suzy's Las Vegas podcast, come join the sway.
Well, hello there. Welcome to our show. I've got a very special guest that flew in just to be on the show. His name is Mike Meier, and we are going to talk about Mike's new project and also what Mike does. Mike, welcome to my show. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, Suzy.
In person. My God, yes.
I'm so glad to be here, and thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so musical.
It's a musical. I have been working on a musical for the past year and 3 months approximately.
Okay.
It developed out of real events.
Okay.
When I represented certain plaintiffs here in Las Vegas in a lawsuit about 15 years ago.
Okay.
I turned it into a story, and finally I turned it into a musical.
Okay.
And we're getting ready for test runs in July in the Washington, D.C. area.
Wow, congratulations.
Well, I'm not quite there. It's test runs. You would call it
Yeah.
a preview.
Okay.
It's basically...
Are you scared? Yes?
It's,
No?
I'm more giddy. If you could see my heart, it would be going
like that. Oh,
this.
yeah, whoa. Yeah. Well, good. Well, that's
But
wonderful.
it's very exciting to put it on stage and take it to the next level. You see, nothing is ever perfect the way you create it. It needs work. It needs
Yeah.
input. So this
Okay.
will give me the opportunity to bring it to the next level.
Okay, and you did everything? You did the songs, you did the script, the whole bit?
Well, with help. With
Okay.
help. You see, nothing is ever done by one person. We all need help.
Okay.
So, yes, I wrote the initial script. I wrote all the music, but I do have help. So I got a co-writer involved for the script. For the
Okay.
music, I have 2 arrangers who are helping me because we've recorded all of the music in a recording studio. So there's a lot of help that
Okay.
I'm getting. And of course, the studio musicians too. So
Okay.
it is not just me. I wish it was. You see, I would love to think of myself as this lone genius.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Okay, so this is a true story.
I don't think I can say it in public that it
Well,
is
I'm
a
going
true
to say
story.
it's a true story. Yeah, that's why you're here. And it has to do with people from Las Vegas.
That is correct. It all started.
And they've passed away now.
They have passed away.
Right.
Exactly. So that's why I started working on this story,
Mm-hmm.
because before I was maybe a little afraid because I got caught in the system that's called hometown justice,
Okay.
the justice system in Las Vegas, which
Yeah.
is, let's call it special. It has a tradition. If you think of the hanging judge, Roy Bean, who
Okay.
did whatever he wanted. If you think of the first casino built by a New York mobster, by Bugsy Siegel,
Yes.
there is a tradition here.
Okay, all right. So, do you want to play a song?
Absolutely.
Or would
yeah.
you like me to pull up the logo? It's
Oh,
all
absolutely.
the glitter.
Yes, yeah.
We should talk about that.
I developed
There
a
it is,
logo.
right there.
Yes, that is the logo for the musical.
Okay.
That I developed. So it's sort of the shadow of Siegfried and Roy because they're
Well,
part
good.
of
I'm
it.
glad you said it. That's what I wanted to talk about. Siegfried and Roy. They
Yes.
were a staple here.
Of course, they
Yeah.
had the biggest show, and there was a reason why they had the biggest show, because there's another story behind it, which I wove into my musical.
Okay.
It is Steve Wynn who built the Mirage,
Correct.
the then largest hotel in the world. He had a problem. He had to fill 3,044 rooms.
Okay.
And it's actually in one of my songs, burlesque girls in the buff look tasty, but ain't quite enough.
Okay.
So that's how family entertainment was brought to Las Vegas, and that's one of Siegfried and Roy's great contributions.
Sure.
Because Steve Wynn had this problem. How do you fill 3,044 rooms? Well, you gotta bring families through.
Correct.
You need family entertainment. There was Siegfried and Roy. Well, their show, I mean, is okay, but if we put in
Did you ever see it?
Unfortunately, only on videos.
Oh,
I
really?
have all
I've
of
seen
them.
it 10 times.
I
Yeah.
bet you did, because you know everything about Las Vegas.
Yes. It was quite a show. And they had a lot of people that worked for them. It was a huge you know, group of people that worked. One of my best friends,
Yes.
she was in charge of the costumes and, you know, putting everybody together.
Yeah, those costumes alone were pieces of art.
Yes,
I know
for
everything
sure.
about the shows because I've watched every video that is out there,
Yeah.
and I own them.
Yeah, it's absolutely wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
So when does your show start, if you don't mind me asking?
You mean the story itself?
You wrote the book, correct?
I did, yes.
Okay, so he wrote the book, and it's called All That Glitters, and you can buy it on what, Amazon?
No, it is not published yet.
Oh, it's not published?
No, this is the first time I'm speaking in public about it. I've been working on it, and I've been
Okay.
working with actors. And of course, we're getting ready for our first preview show in July, but it has not been published anywhere.
Okay.
So
all
you are
right.
the first to hear
Well,
about
there you go. I love it when I have the scoop on everybody. This is great. Okay, so your songs, that one, Bugsy Siegel.
Yes.
Do you want to pull that off of Rick's video, or do you
I
want to
can
sing
just play
the song?
a few songs.
Okay.
But of course, the music that I recorded, it's all lounge music. I only have my humble guitar here.
Okay.
But of course, the recording, it's piano, it's acoustic bass, it's drums, saxophone, trumpet. It sounds very different.
Okay.
But I can give you a sampling.
Give us a sample, and then, you know, we'll see how much time we have left, and maybe
Yeah.
we can put it in.
Right.
That would be great.
So the narrator of the story is Bugsy Siegel, or the
Okay.
ghost of Bugsy Siegel.
Okay.
And
I like that. Woo.
that's right. And actually, I use for his appearance, I use one of these theremin sounds that you may know from the science fiction movies from the 1950s and
Yeah.
50s and 60s. He's
Yeah.
So every time he appears, there is the sound
Yeah.
because he's a ghost, but he
Okay.
tells the story.
Oh, good.
Because
Tell us the story.
so this is one of the songs. So it's welcome to my paradise, and behold, you get me with the ticket price. My Vegas is on your bucket list. Temptation you cannot resist. It's got mystery, just like me. How about my wicked history? Caught a bulletin, 47. No, you won't find me in heaven. But as long as there's Vegas, my ghost will shine. Where I belong, we're the end of time. A fool's paradise. You're skating on thin ice. Oh, I gotta retune my guitar. Sorry, here, I got a wrong note. I didn't retune in time.
Okay, why don't we have Rick play the song?
Okay, play the song, sure.
Yeah, Rick, the one with Bugsy Siegel. The what is the name? Yeah, I think he's got it. There it is.
Fabulous Las Vegas, ladies and gentlemen. My kind of town. You know, back in the day, they called me Bugsy. You know, plenty of people would sell their souls for a chance to make it big here. And this, well, this is a song and dance, sex and sin story about two of them who did just that.
All that glitters is seldom real gold. Beware your soul may be bought and be sold. All that glitters, now you know the rest, often leads to a spurious quest.
All that glitters is almost never gold. Without warnings won't save you centuries old.
Bound and beguiled by glamour and glitz.
All that we want is a
Diamond as big as the Ritz.
Now all we have to do is make it big here.
Oh, did someone say, make it big here?
But who are you?
Oh, I'm one of those people my parents warned me about.
Und what is that?
Ignore it. Comes with the job. I'm a manager. So what do you guys do? What's your spiel?
We do magic. Let me show you.
Ta-da! And did they make it big here? You bet they did. Brightest stars the strip had ever seen. Fame, fortune, sex, and magic. Ah, what a life. But alas, like they say, all good things must come to a bad middle before they make it to a worse end.
And now, taking center stage, freedom und manticore. And now, dance from you knuckleheads, dance! Beautiful freedom, fabulous dancing as always. And manticore, the king of the jungle, the ferocious tiger. Now, Siegfried, take it away! Fabulous, Siegfried! Fabulous! Manticore, what are you doing? I said dance!
Now that looks like one hell of a musical. Wow. That's what, one of the first songs that you...
The song, yeah, the opening song is All That Glitters. All
Okay,
That Glitters
that's
is...
what that is.
The first one, yes, the beginning. All that glitters is seldom real gold. Felt
Okay.
warnings from sages centuries old. Bound and beguiled by glamour and glitz, all that we want is a diamond as big as the Ritz.
Okay, beautiful.
So that's the opening lines. And it's
Okay.
also the closer to the
Okay.
musical.
All right, so how long is the musical, if you don't mind me asking?
I wrote something that turned out far too long. The script at this point is basically 2 hours itself, plus the music. I have to cut it. I'm planning to cut
Yeah.
it for our preview shows to 1.5 minutes. 1.5 minutes, 1.5 hours.
I was going to say 1.5
That would be
hours.
awfully short.
Yeah, so what do you do then, cut in the middle so that they can have a break for the theater that you're
No,
going to have?
I
or you're
actually,
gonna
I
go
want
through
to
the whole thing?
go through all the way 1.5 hours
Okay.
approximately.
So why don't we talk about the musical?
Yes.
What, from beginning to end, tell me the story. That's really what I want to hear.
Well, I don't want to give too much away, but it turns around Joshua, who fulfills his lifelong dream of coming to Las Vegas. By coincidence, he meets Siegfried
Okay,
in the street.
okay.
And
At his place?
yes,
Okay.
it was actually at Little Bavaria.
Oh, wow.
And he becomes their assistant. But then his dream, the dream that he had about Las Vegas, dissipates, and he gets entangled in hometown justice too.
Okay, so what happened in that?
Well,
You know, I mean,
there are very
you know,
few perfect human beings
correct.
in this
we want
world.
to find out.
Right.
Yeah.
And less so in Las Vegas. So let me put it this way. I don't want to give away too much of
well,
the
give
story.
a little more. Yeah. so
Well-
people, maybe they'll fly to Washington to go see it. I would think. Maybe
So-
we'll have it here in Vegas. Who knows?
Siegfried and Roy weren't exactly perfect people.
Correct.
They have achieved something enormous with this show. They brought family entertainment
Right.
to Las Vegas, but that doesn't mean that they're perfect human beings, and they certainly weren't. And it resulted, their, let me call it, misdeeds. I'm not
Okay.
quite sure what to call it, resulted in a lawsuit. It ended up in court.
Okay, were you in charge of the lawsuit?
I was the one who originally filed it. It's highly complicated what happened procedurally.
And you're in Washington, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I
and
had a
they
local,
were here.
I had a co-counsel here in Las
Okay.
Vegas.
All right.
So, but I was the one who basically put this case together.
Okay.
So I was the one who filed it here in Las Vegas.
Okay. So when did you, if you don't mind me asking, when did you decide to do the musical? After they died?
Oh, yeah. Well, I started
Or
working.
did you do work before they died? or-
There was actually a prior step because I was very disenchanted.
Okay.
I wrote a drama screenplay about all of this.
You wrote a drama?
Yes.
Okay.
But then,
How did it end in the drama?
very dramatically, it ended in death.
Okay.
But then, when I had this opportunity of developing a musical, I started with that drama, but maybe it's cathartic, it helped me overcome what I had suffered.
Okay, so
Here-
it's as much helping you as it is the people that were in it. Is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay.
And then gradually it turned into a comedy. I started writing, I started in December.
Most things are a comedy. Really.
Life is a comedy. It's not exactly a divine comedy,
No,
but
I
certainly
wouldn't
a
say
comedy.
that, yes.
Yeah. So I started writing, but already with the first draft, and it was basically starting out with my drama screenplay, rewriting it.
Right.
It became a comedy. I just had to put in this
Well, sure.
joke.
I mean, you want to laugh about it.
Yes.
But, you know, I mean, it hurt a lot of people, but,
Yes.
you know, laughter in a way is a good thing, you know, to try to get through this.
It turned
Yeah.
funnier and funnier. I threw in more and more jokes. And then when I started recording the first song, that was probably in March of last year.
Okay.
It had already become somewhat tongue-in-cheek. All that glitters is seldom real gold.
Correct, yeah.
Nobody knows why moths follow the light, but it's basically, it's about the attraction of Las Vegas. It had turned into
sure.
a comedy.
Las Vegas is a comedy and a tragedy.
Yes.
I mean, ask the people that come here and lose all the money, you know,
Exactly.
or at the strip clubs, or at, you know, the other places.
Right, but it had already become a comedy, and when I recorded the first song, that was All That Glitters. It was the first song that I recorded in the studio.
Okay.
It had already become tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah, I'll bet. Well, go through it. So what happened after that? You know, like the start, the All That Glitters. What is the next step in this musical?
It tells the story. It does, there is no
Does
main...
it go back to when they were young children? And
No, it does...
or is it just the
It discusses
bad
a
parts of-
little bit the lives of Siegfried and Roy, how they arrived in the United States. But it is not, how can I say, there is not one main person in this musical. There are many people in this musical who are equally important. So there is no main actor. When I was
Okay.
looking for actors, they asked me, so who's the main actor? Who's the lead? Well, there is really none. So, immediately after this opening scene, it goes back to Siegfried and Roy arriving in the United States, and they meet their manager. Mephisto is his
Yes.
name, and he has a tail.
Yes, and he's Jewish.
I don't think, I'm not religious, I don't think I assigned a
Okay.
religion to him.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So, but it is Mephisto.
But he took care of everything for them, is what you're trying to say.
Exactly, and
Okay.
he will introduce them in the following scene to Steve Wynn, who had this problem that he had to fill 3,044 rooms.
Okay,
So he introduces him to Steve Wynn and Steve Wynn's contract attorney, Mary McManton.
okay,
And all three of them, like the witches in Macbeth, assemble around a cauldron and
stir the pot.
stir the pot and cook up Siegfried and Roy.
Okay.
So it takes some dragon scales into the bubbly stew,
Yeah,
$50 million
sure,
for the show, and
Yeah.
Siegfried and Roy are born
yeah.
for the
Yeah,
ultimate show
money
at
is
the
no
Mirage.
object in Las
Exactly.
Vegas.
Well,
correct.
if you have to fill 3,044 rooms, what do?
Right.
$50 million is nothing.
Right.
So basically, Siegfried and Roy were at the right place at the right time.
Right.
Family entertainment.
Okay. So over the years, they entertained a lot of people
Oh,
that
yes,
were
they
here, but
did.
they had private lives also.
They did have.
And this is more about their private life, is what you're trying to say then.
Yes. Yeah. It relates to certain misdeeds in their private life.
Okay. All right. So as we go forward on this journey with you, you were hurt also. Is that correct?
I was hurt very much. Yes. But at first.
But you're a lawyer by trade, aren't you?
Yes, I'm a lawyer. I was an attorney in this
Yeah.
case. And it started with very bizarre happenings in the court. And I just didn't understand what was going on. Because it was babes in the woods. Because I didn't know about hometown justice and how
Right.
the justice system works. I was completely ignorant. And I thought, well, because there are videos of all of this is a no-brainer. Well, not so in Las Vegas.
Well, it depends on, it could be in New York, or it could be in Florida, or it could be in Chicago also, depending on who's involved and
I think
the
it was-
payoff and the whole bit. is
It was
what-
also
yeah.
the times. This was before
Right.
#MeToo.
Yeah.
I think if all of this had happened after #MeToo,
Right,
the outcome would have been different.
right.
But it wasn't.
Okay. So what you're trying to say, everybody knows that Siegfried and Roy, they liked men more than they liked women. And, you know, we have a lot of entertainers here.
Yeah.
Liberace, for example.
Sure.
You know, he had a story that was produced and,
Yeah.
you know, it was after he passed away. They did the story under, you know, under the candelabra and,
Yes.
and all that. So basically, is it similar to that type of story? And what happens to the families?
It is, as I said, there is no main person. It's how several people interact who were involved in these developments. So
Okay.
yes, there's Siegfried and Roy. There is Joshua and his wife.
What happened to Joshua and his wife in this musical?
They had to leave the United States because of the adverse results in this lawsuit.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So where are Joshua and his wife now? Did they come back to Las Vegas?
Yes, they are back in the United States.
Okay. And how are they doing?
I think they're doing reasonably well.
Okay.
They're very hardworking. They're very dedicated people. And I
Okay.
think this is the country of opportunity. If
It
you
is.
work hard, you will eventually come out ahead.
Okay. So you have a couple songs in this that are really catchy, and your songs were all recorded in the studio.
Correct.
The false, is it
The
false?
false seven times, yes.
Get up eight?
Yes, that is
Can
one
you
of the
play
songs.
that for
I
us?
can play
I
a little
love-
bit. Of course,
yeah.
it doesn't sound the same. Let me just check the tuning of my guitar because it let me
If
down.
not, we can play it, have Rick play it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just it let me down before. So this is actually my song because I am in there too.
Okay.
So Mike the lawyer is there,
Okay.
and Mike the lawyer got destroyed in this case. And Mike the lawyer got sanctioned, and Mike the lawyer had to pay $40,000 to Siegfried and Roy in court sanctions. And I was depressed for the longest time.
I'll bet you were.
Yes, and then there came a point where I thought, I gotta get back on my feet. And I wrote a song about that.
Okay. Well, let's hear it.
So, all right now. You fall off the horse and you feel the pain, but you don't give up, you just mount again. You rise with resolve and try once more, and with lots of hard work, you even the score. So get up and go, oh, be a real pro. Blast that fastball over the wall. Rise with resolve and mount once more. You find yourself down, you turn it around. And let me see, do I have, there's also a very silly part because it goes on. So 7 times you fell, left you all bruised. Such a perfect excuse to pout and booze. But then you recall the case of Robert the Bruce. It fills you with a Scottish jolt of Jews. Alone in a cave, completely despaired, he saw a spider failing who succeeded without wailing. So inspired he pressed on, town to town, his fate turned, and king he was crowned. And then it gets really silly because it's Robert the Bruce, and I inserted into the recording a brief part of Scotland the Brave. The Brave.
Yeah.
Etc. So
Okay,
I'm trying
very
to have
good.
fun with all
I
of
went to
this.
Scotland last year. I would have had fun with you if you were with us.
So
Yeah.
basically, it's a comedy. So
Yeah.
I'm making fun of everybody.
Well,
I'm making fun
sure.
of myself. I'm making
Yes.
fun of Siegfried and Roy. I'm making fun of the judge. I'm making fun of everybody.
Well, yeah. Sometimes you just have to laugh because it gets so bad. If you don't laugh, you're going to cry.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
You can laugh or cry about it.
Yeah.
I think it's better to laugh about
Well,
it.
sure, I do too, but I think the story should be told. Yeah, the real story.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
as I said, I mean, I don't beautify myself. In fact, I'm the one you can laugh at the most,
Yeah.
probably in this story.
Yeah.
Because how clueless I am, or how clueless I was at the time.
So what do you expect to happen from your musical? Do you want to take it on the road and go across the country? Do you want to play all over in major cities?
It sounds crazy. I mean, I want to see how it goes with the preview in
Okay.
July. I want to see what the acceptance is. It won't be perfect. Nothing is ever perfect.
Correct.
But it's continuing, continuing never-ending improvement.
That's true.
So I
Yeah.
hope to take it to the next level. And then, of course, I would love to take the show on the road if there's sufficient acceptance
Okay.
by the public.
Okay, well, are you going to come to Vegas and do the show? I'm sure we'd have a lot of people that want to see it.
I'm sure there are a couple of people who might be miffed if they saw some semblance of themselves on stage.
But it would be fun.
Maybe.
It's all tongue in cheek. What can I tell you?
As I
right?
said, I mean, it is a comedy. It is.
Right.
It has become a complete comedy, and it makes fun of everybody, no exception.
Okay. So if people want to read this book,
Yes.
how do they read it?
It is not published as a book, it's a script for a musical. So it's
Okay.
just the script, it exists as the script. I don't think I'm going to publish as a
You're-
book.
okay.
Of course, I'm a published author. I mean, I've
Yeah.
published other books.
Or they want to get a hold of you, Mike. How do they get a hold of you? Give us the number.
I do have a website.
Okay.
The website is the Mike Meier. Mike is my real name,
Okay.
not Michael. I was born as Mike.
Mike.
So it's the M-I-K-E, Meier, M-E-I-E-R
Okay, .com?
.com.
Okay, and you have a lot of things on your website?
Yeah, my other books. I mean, I've published 3
Yeah.
other books.
Well, how long have you been writing?
I started actually, I've been writing for a long time, but I
Okay.
never got to finish anything. So I had a ton of drafts in my drawer, and I never typed it up. I never did anything with it. Then came COVID. I said, what am I going to do? I
Then
mean,
you had lots of time.
I had lots of time. So I took out one of my drafts and finished it. It was my science fiction book, Join with .me.
Okay.
It's a dystopian science fiction book. And then I had another draft, which goes back to my days when I was a law student. I started drafting that. It's a comedy that takes place in Mexico. It's called The Love Hacks or Nicest...
You sent that to me.
It did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
The Nicest Flings in Mexico.
That's published, isn't it?
Oh yes, it's published.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Also,
Yeah.
Join with .me is also
Yeah.
it's on.
Okay.
It's available on
Yeah.
Amazon. And
So if they look up Mike Meier, they're going to find out all about you.
yes, and they're
Yeah.
going to find my books. And the Love Hacks just got published in Germany as well. In
Okay.
German.
Well, you're originally a German citizen. You were born in Germany, correct?
Correct. I was born in Germany. I went to high school in Germany, in Hamburg.
What part? Hamburg,
In
Germany.
Hamburg, yes,
Oh, I
the
loved
big port
Hamburg.
town.
Yeah.
Hamburg is a beautiful city in the summer.
Yeah.
In winter with the North Sea winds, you don't want to be there.
No.
Neither
Well,
do I.
We were there. I got married 4 years ago, and Steve and I went to Berlin on
Yes.
our honeymoon.
Yes.
And we stayed in Berlin, but then we went to Hamburg, and
Yes.
we went to a lot of other. It's beautiful, but it is warm and humid in the summer. You know, once you live in Las Vegas, you
Yes.
have a hard time going anywhere. You can go other places, but we go in the spring and the fall
Yes.
generally. Yeah. But may I ask you a question? There was an unauthorized opera in Australia. Were
Yes.
you involved in that?
No, I was not involved, but I went there to see it.
What did
I-
you think about it?
I was there in January to see it. When I saw this, the unauthorized opera of Siegfried and Roy, I said, I gotta go. It's crazy. It's gonna
Yeah.
cost me a fortune.
Yeah.
I flew to Sydney, Australia for 3 days. I saw a preview and then the official opening show.
Right.
And
How did it go?
it was very nicely done. Fabulous lead singers, fabulous opera
Okay.
singers. But it is an opera.
Okay. And yours is a musical.
Mine is a musical. An
Okay.
opera has a limited audience. Also, opera music to most ears is not very memorable.
Okay.
There's a big difference in terms of the music. They
Right.
really presented it as an opera, really opera music. There was one song sort of in the middle that
I
sounded
see
like...
this as a musical. I really do.
Oh, you do? Yeah. It was a very interesting production in the sense that they retold the story of Siegfried and Roy in a slightly different way. So it basically ends with the tiger attack.
Oh, that's where it ended.
Correct, and that's
Okay.
where my story really starts.
Okay.
So I have the tiger attack in my story and a little bit of background, but
Okay.
that's really where it starts. So there is
okay.
no overlap with the unauthorized opera of Siegfried and Roy in Sydney.
Okay, do you, looking forward, do you foresee a movie on this,
A movie.
on their life?
I would say no. A project was started by, I believe, UFA in Germany to turn this into a movie, and it did not get the necessary funding as far as I know.
Okay.
I guess the life story is interesting, but in the context of modern society, maybe not interesting enough,
Okay.
unless one turns it into a comedy.
Okay.
That
all
was
right.
my thinking, by the way.
Okay, so what do you think is going to happen with this?
My hope is that I can turn this show, that I can take this show on the road.
Okay,
And I would love to put it on stage somewhere else.
okay,
For example, I'm thinking Berlin.
okay.
I think Berlin would be a great place to present the show.
Absolutely. Do you think you'll ever do Las Vegas, though?
I think too many people would be miffed. I don't think that anybody would extend an offer here in Las Vegas. They might say, well, and I sort of see
might be
myself there.
You might be surprised. So that's our show for today. You know, Mike, this went so fast, I can't believe it. And I hope to have you back on the show again. Will you please let me know how you make out in July
I
with
will
the
let you know.
musical? And you know, if there's going to be a movie or a TV series or whatever, I'd love to hear about it.
Thank
Okay?
you so much,
All
Suzy.
right. So thank you. That's our show for today. Bye.
So grab your headphones, let the journey start with Suzy's Vegas tales. She's stealing the heart in the city of dreams. Let's laugh and play Suzy's Las Vegas podcast. Come join us, sway.